Did you know? When we think of King Solomon, we think of a legendary figure, the wisest king in ancient history. His name is forever tied to the Temple of Jerusalem, a sacred landmark and a profound symbol of faith for God's children. One would assume that this king would forever remain at the pinnacle of glory, honoring God for generations to come. However, his reign lasted only 40 years. Behind his unparalleled wisdom lay a weakness that, when revealed, brought his kingdom to the brink of collapse. How did a king chosen and blessed by God fall into despair and repentance, and ultimately lead to the downfall of Israel's monarchy? Join us as we dive into every detail of his journey, as told in the pages of the Bible, from his ascent to the throne to his final days. We believe these insights are worth your time. So stay with us until the end of this video and consider subscribing to our channel. If you enjoy today's video, please leave a like, share your reflections in the comments, and share this video with your church group, family, and friends. Your support helps us spread these life-changing messages to more people. We also welcome your feedback and suggestions to help us create even more engaging content. Now, let's explore the life of Solomon together. Solomon was not only a king renowned for his extraordinary wisdom, but also the central figure in a remarkable story of divine selection and protection amidst family conflicts. As the son of King David and Bathsheba, Solomon emerged from a household rife with power struggles, where his older siblings, like Adonijah, schemed relentlessly to seize the throne. What allowed Solomon to overcome these dangers and be chosen by God to lead Israel into an era of prosperity? In a time of chaos and disputes, King David, though a powerful yet aging ruler, faced immense pressure from his children vying for succession. Adonijah, Solomon's older half-brother, declared himself king with the support of Joab, David's loyal commander, and Abiathar, a high priest. His plans included a secret coronation ceremony to solidify his claim to the throne. Yet, even in the midst of such scheming, the clarity of prophecy from 1 Chronicles 22 pointed to a different outcome. The prophecy explicitly declared that Solomon, the son of Bathsheba, would build the temple of the Lord and lead Israel during a time of peace. God told David, "You will not build a house for my name, for you have fought many battles and shed much blood. But your son will be a man of peace. I will give him rest from all his enemies and bring peace to Israel during his reign." This divine promise secured Solomon's position, not because of age or power, but because of God's sovereign will. In the midst of escalating tension, Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, and the prophet Nathan played pivotal roles. They approached David, reminding him of his promise that Solomon would be his successor. Through their loyalty and persuasion, they prompted David to reaffirm his intentions. David commanded the prophet Nathan and the priest Zadok to anoint Solomon at Gihon, where he was publicly declared king of Israel. This anointing not only quashed Adonijah's conspiracy, but also underscored Solomon's divinely appointed role, demonstrating that his kingship was not the result of human ambition, but of God's sovereign choice. The question arises, what made Solomon God's chosen king? Surpass his powerful older brothers? It was his unique qualities, humility, and unwavering trust in God. When he ascended the throne, Solomon did not ask for power or wealth, but for wisdom to lead his people. This reflects the spirit of a true leader who places the well-being of his people above all else. Because of this, God not only granted him unmatched wisdom, but also unprecedented prosperity for Israel. In biblical history, this is recorded in a remarkable event at Gibeon, where Solomon demonstrated the humility and vision of a true leader. After becoming king, he went to Gibeon to offer 1,000 sacrifices, an act that symbolized his deep reverence and complete dependence on God. That night, God appeared to him in a dream and offered a rare opportunity. Ask for whatever you want, and I will give it to you. Faced with such an extraordinary offer, Solomon chose neither wealth nor power to secure his reign, but humbly asked for the wisdom to discern between good and evil and to govern his people justly. Why did Solomon make such an unusual request? It stemmed from his profound awareness of leadership's responsibilities. At just 18 years old, Solomon recognized that ruling a vast nation like Israel required more than decisiveness. It demanded discernment. He said, "I am only a child and do not know how to carry out my duties. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people." This request not only pleased God but was praised as the reflection of a true leader's heart. In response, God granted Solomon unparalleled wisdom and also promised him wealth and fame, making his reign the golden era of Israel. The wisdom God gave Solomon was not theoretical. It was evident in his historic decisions, most notably in the case of the two women disputing over a baby. The story unfolded when two women came to the king, each claiming to be the mother of the living child. With no witnesses and no evidence, Solomon made a bold decision. He ordered the baby to be cut in half, with one half given to each woman. At that moment, the truth was revealed. The real mother, moved by love, begged the king to spare the child's life and give it to the other woman, while the other woman agreed to the division. With his extraordinary wisdom, Solomon discerned the true mother and returned the child to her, earning the awe and respect of all Israel. Solomon's wisdom not only delivered justice, but also strengthened the people's faith in a king blessed by God. This story is a vivid testament to how he used his wisdom to build a just and prosperous kingdom, affirming that moral and spiritual values are the true foundations of lasting authority. Solomon was not just the king of Israel, but a symbol of a leader guided by wisdom and justice, a beacon of light for all to follow. To mention Solomon is to recall the construction of the Temple of Jerusalem, one of the greatest achievements in biblical history, not only for its grandeur and scale, but for the profound spiritual significance it embodies. Built on Mount Moriah, the site where Abraham demonstrated absolute obedience to God by preparing to sacrifice his son, the temple stands as more than just an architectural marvel. It is a sacred symbol, connecting the past, present, and future of the nation of Israel. Mount Moriah, regarded as the location where God established his covenant with mankind, was purposefully chosen for the temple, representing the continuity and reinforcement of the unbreakable relationship between God and his people. Solomon mobilized the most valuable resources from across the region to complete this monumental project. Cedar wood from Lebanon, renowned for its durability and natural fragrance, was imported through an alliance with King Hiram of Tyre. Thousands of laborers worked tirelessly to harvest and transport this timber across the sea to Israel. Additionally, marble from local quarries, along with pure gold, silver, and bronze, were used to decorate and finish the temple. The scale of the materials was astonishing, approximately 70.000 carriers, 80.000 stonecutters, and 3.300 foremen worked relentlessly for 7 years to complete the structure. The meticulous attention to detail, from gold-covered walls to sacred objects like the Ark of the Covenant, demonstrates the Israelites' profound spiritual and material investment in the temple. The significance of the Temple of Jerusalem extends far beyond its architectural beauty or the precious materials used in its construction. Its importance lies in its religious, cultural, and political impact. Religiously, the temple became the sole center of worship, where the people of Israel came to offer sacrifices and pray. The Ark of the Covenant, placed in the temple's Holy of Holies, symbolized God's presence among his people. The temple also hosted major festivals, such as Passover, fostering faith and unity within the community. This centralization of worship not only strengthened devotion to God, but also solidified Jerusalem's role as the spiritual heart of the nation. Culturally, the temple served as a symbol of Israel's identity. It reflected the craftsmanship and creativity of its people while showcasing their pride in their religious heritage. Stories and imagery associated with the temple were passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of the collective memory of the nation. Politically, the construction of the temple reinforced Solomon's position as a wise and ambitious leader. The temple became a symbol of stability and the power of the Israelite kingdom during his reign. By forging alliances with neighboring nations like Tyre to secure building materials, Solomon strengthened diplomatic ties and expanded Israel's influence beyond its borders. Investing in such a monumental project also demonstrated the prosperity of his kingdom to neighboring states. However, the greatest significance of the Temple of Jerusalem lies in its sacred connection between God and the people of Israel. The temple was not merely a dwelling for the Ark of the Covenant, but the place God chose to dwell among his people. It stood as a testament to loyalty, faith, and reverence for the Lord. This structure embodied the sacred commitment Solomon made not only to God but also to his nation. The Temple of Jerusalem was more than an architectural masterpiece. It was the soul of Israel during its most prosperous era. Beyond Solomon's extraordinary wisdom and intellect, which drew admiration from all, his romantic relationships have left many in awe and shock. To consolidate his power and expand his territory, Solomon married 700 wives and took 300 concubines, a staggering number that, while politically strategic, carried significant spiritual risks. These marriages, initially formed as political alliances, later became the root cause of religious and moral decline. One of the most notable events of Solomon's reign was the visit of the Queen of Sheba, a mysterious figure from a wealthy kingdom in southern Arabia, likely modern-day Yemen or Ethiopia. Attracted by Solomon's renowned wisdom and prosperity, the queen embarked on a journey to test his reputation herself. Her visit was not merely a diplomatic mission, but a true test of intellect. She brought a grand entourage laden with gifts of gold, precious stones, and rare spices. Yet, her greatest offering was a series of riddles and questions designed to challenge Solomon's understanding and reasoning. According to the Bible, Solomon answered every question to perfection, leaving the queen in awe and admitting that his wisdom far exceeded what she had heard. This meeting not only showcased Solomon's unmatched intellect, but also solidified his status as a king blessed by God. After witnessing his wealth and governance, the Queen of Sheba proclaimed that Solomon's prosperity and wisdom stemmed not merely from his leadership abilities, but from God's divine presence in his life. However, this event also marked a turning point in Solomon's reign. As the influence of international relations and marriages with foreign women began to erode his faith, Solomon's marriages to foreign princesses were not simply romantic, but were calculated diplomatic strategies to secure alliances with neighboring kingdoms. He married the daughter of the Pharaoh of Egypt and princesses from Moab, Ammon, Edom, Sidon, and other nations. These unions helped maintain peace and expanded Israel's influence, creating a robust network of international relations. Yet, behind the political success lay spiritual dangers. With over 700 wives and 300 concubines, Solomon faced not only the complexities of managing the royal household, but also the cultural and religious influences these foreign women brought into Israel. These wives introduced their own religions to Israel, including the worship of Ashtoreth of the Sidonians, Milcom of the Ammonites, and Chemosh of the Moabites. At first, Solomon tolerated these practices to please his wives, but over time, he became involved in constructing temples and even participating in pagan worship. This was a grave violation of God's law, which commanded Israel to worship no other gods but him. Solomon's actions not only diminished his loyalty to God, but also caused a spiritual crisis among the Israelites, who looked to him as a moral and spiritual example. The consequences of Solomon's actions extended far beyond his personal life and spread throughout the kingdom. God's anger over Solomon's unfaithfulness led to the rise of adversaries both within and outside Israel. Jeroboam, a prominent official, was chosen by God to lead the northern tribes, signaling the inevitable division of the kingdom after Solomon's death. In 1 Kings 11, God declared that because Solomon had broken the covenant, his kingdom would be torn apart. While Solomon's son Rehoboam inherited the throne, he quickly lost control of the 10 northern tribes, retaining only Judah and Benjamin. This led to the formation of 2 separate kingdoms, Israel in the north and Judah in the south. The latter years of Solomon's reign were marred by these failures, leaving a bitter legacy for the nation. What was once a unified and prosperous kingdom descended into division and prolonged conflict. Solomon's story serves as a powerful reminder that even the greatest wisdom and power cannot substitute for faithfulness to God. His unfaithfulness not only harmed himself, but determined the fate of Israel for generations to come. Solomon, once the epitome of wisdom, ended his reign with spiritual and political bitterness, a cautionary tale of the consequences of turning away from God. Throughout his 40-year reign, Solomon left behind a complex legacy, one both magnificent and deeply conflicted. On one hand, he was the king who led Israel into an unprecedented era of prosperity and power. Under his rule, Israel became a cultural and economic hub in the region and gained renown for the Temple of Jerusalem, a monumental structure symbolizing God's presence and a source of national pride. Solomon's wisdom, blessed by God, offered profound lessons, not only through his leadership decisions, but also through the proverbs and writings he left behind, enriching Israel's religious and cultural heritage. On the other hand, Solomon's later mistakes planted the seeds of division and the eventual decline of the nation. What lessons does Solomon's story teach about morality and spiritual decisions for leaders? Solomon's life serves as a profound lesson on morality and the importance of spiritual decisions for leaders. Gifted by God with unparalleled wisdom, Solomon began his reign with humility and reverence for the Lord, laying the foundation for one of Israel's most prosperous eras. His just decisions, such as the famous judgment between 2 women disputing a child, demonstrated not only his wisdom but also his commitment to justice and compassion. Solomon taught that a true leader must prioritize the well-being of the people and loyalty to God above personal ambition. However, his life is also a sobering reminder of the dangers of poor decisions and moral failure. When Solomon tolerated the worship of foreign gods to please his foreign wives, he abandoned the values he once upheld. This not only weakened his own faithfulness to God, but also led the people astray, eroding the moral foundation of the entire kingdom. Solomon's mistakes highlight that power and wisdom, if not accompanied by faithfulness and integrity, can easily lead to downfall. His story delivers a clear message. Leaders are accountable not only to their people, but also to higher values. Spiritual and moral decisions shape not just individual success, but the destiny of entire nations. Solomon's life is a testament that even those most greatly blessed can falter if they lose sight of core moral principles. It underscores the critical importance of remaining steadfast in values, as the consequences of straying from them can be far-reaching and enduring. Solomon's final message in the book of Ecclesiastes carries profound meaning, not only for the people of Israel but for humanity as a whole. After a life filled with both glory and failure, Solomon, who had experienced the pinnacle of power, wisdom, and wealth, concluded that all is meaningless without God. In Ecclesiastes, he writes, "Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind." Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13. This statement is not merely advice, but a distilled truth from a lifetime of experience, emphasizing that the true purpose of life is not found in material wealth or personal ambition, but in a relationship with the Creator. This message is particularly powerful because it comes from someone who possesses everything humanity desires. Solomon was not only wealthier than any king, but was also gifted with unparalleled wisdom to lead and solve complex problems. Yet, even he acknowledged that these achievements brought fleeting satisfaction and could not fill the emptiness of the soul without faithfulness to God. Through Ecclesiastes, Solomon underscores the futility of seeking meaning in temporary things, reminding us that human life is short and everything on earth will eventually pass away. Solomon's message resonates to this day, serving as a reminder to prioritize eternal values over fleeting goals. Fearing and obeying God not only brings inner peace, but also establishes a solid moral foundation for life. Solomon's story, ending with a call to live according to God's will, leaves a valuable spiritual legacy, teaching humanity that life's true worth lies not in what we possess, but in how we live, love, and serve the Creator. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. I hope the insights I've shared help you gain a deeper understanding of one of history's most renowned kings, Solomon. See you in future videos. May God be with you. Please subscribe to our channel to enjoy more captivating Bible stories from us.